Welcome to The Explainer. All right, today we are diving deep into one of the biggest debates in beauty, sugaring versus waxing. We're going to break down exactly how they work and what the real differences are so you can figure out which one is the right move for you.
So, you're tired of shaving, right? You want something that lasts longer? And you've probably landed on these two heavy hitters. Both have been around for ages, but don't be fooled. They are not the same thing. So let's get into it. Okay, first things first. Before we can even get into the pros and cons, we've got to understand how these two methods actually work. Because, at their core, they're surprisingly different. Right off the bat, let's just look at what they're made of. With sugaring, it's super simple. We're talking sugar, lemon, and water. That's it. You could practically eat the stuff. Waxing, on the other hand, usually involves more complex formulas with things like resins. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Pay close attention to the technique here for sugaring. The paste, which is lukewarm by the way, gets applied against the direction your hair grows, then it's flicked off with the grain. This is super important, so keep that in your back pocket. And you guessed it, waxing is the total opposite. The wax is spread on with your hair growth, and then it's pulled off against it. And that one little detail, that direction, it changes, pretty much everything.
All right, now that we've got the basics down, let's put them head to head and see how they stack up on the stuff you really care about.
Okay, let's just get right to it. The million-dollar question. Which one hurts more? I mean, let's be real. Pulling hair out from the root is never going to be a walk in the park, but there is a pretty big difference in what people report. So here's the deal. Sugaring is generally considered less painful. And why is that? Well, it's all about what this stuff sticks to. The sugar paste mostly grabs onto your hair and any dead skin cells, but wax, it sticks to everything, including your live skin. So when it's pulled off, it's pulling your skin more. And, ouch.
Okay, but what if your skin is, a little dramatic? If you've got sensitive skin, the last thing you want is a bunch of redness and irritation. So how do they compare here?
Well, for the sensitive skin folks, sugaring really seems to be the hero here. I mean, first off, the ingredients are all natural, so there's less chance of a weird reaction. And get this, the paste is just lukewarm, so you literally can't get burned. Wax, on the other hand, can be hot and is more likely to cause that redness and irritation.
Okay, let's talk about the absolute worst part of hair removal for a lot of us. Ingrown hairs. Those annoying, sometimes painful bumps. It turns out one of these methods has a major leg up in preventing them. Remember how we talked about the direction of removal? This is where it pays off. Because sugaring pulls the hair out with the grain. In the same direction it grows, the hair is way less likely to snap off right at the surface. And that breakage is exactly what causes most ingrown hairs. Okay, so we've talked about pain and irritation, but what about the whole point of doing this in the first place? How long do you get to enjoy that silky smooth skin?
And yeah, there's a pretty clear difference here. With waxing, you're looking at about 3 to 4 weeks of smoothness. But with sugaring, you could stretch that out to 4, 5, even 6 weeks. That's a whole extra week or 2 without having to think about it.
So, why the difference? Is it magic? Nope. It all comes down to a little bit of science and understanding the way your hair actually grows. Okay, so every hair on your body goes through a growth cycle. The key phase is called the anagen phase. That's when it's actively growing. If you can yank the hair out from the root during that phase, you basically hit the reset button on its growth, which means it takes longer to come back. And this is why sugaring often lasts longer. It's a 1-2 punch. First, like we said, less hair breaks, so more hair gets pulled from the root. But second, and this is a big one, sugaring can grab super short hairs. We're talking tiny. That means it's much better at catching those hairs in that perfect anagen growth phase.
Okay, that was a lot of information, right? So how in the world do you choose what's right for you?
Think of this as your personal cheat sheet. It really boils down to this. If you've got sensitive skin, you get ingrowns easily, or you just love all natural products, sugaring is probably your best bet. But if you have really thick, stubborn hair, sometimes the stronger grip of wax is what you need.
And honestly, that's the bottom line. There is no single best method for everyone. It's not a competition. The only thing that matters is what works for your body, your skin, and your hair.
So we're going to leave you with this question. Forget what's popular or what your friends are doing. take a second and ask yourself, beyond all the hype, what does my skin actually need? Answering that is how you'll find your perfect match.